today is on Sir Winston Churchill. Sir Winston Churchill was a courageous leader and prime minister during World War II, and was also known as a writer and speaker, being remembered for some of the greatest quotes of all time. Sir Winston Churchill was a soldier, a speaker, a leader, famous for his speeches that invoked inspiration and perseverance, refusing to give in to difficult situations. Winston Churchill was born November 30th, 1874, and died January 24th, 1965, at the age of 90. He was the eldest son of Lord Randolph Churchill and the American heiress Jenny Jerome. As a young child, he grew up in a home where his father was rarely there, and although he loved his mother very much, he quoted that he loved her from a distance. It was his nurse or nanny who was always there and helped raise him. This was one of the first of many challenges he had to overcome. Sir Churchill had to overcome feeling neglected in his own home. Sir Winston Churchill was a courageous leader and prime minister during World War II, also known as a writer and a speaker. Now that we know a little bit about Sir Winston Churchill's origin, let's talk about the obstacles he overcame to become a great hero. Throughout his school-age years, he did poorly academically. Year after year, he struggled in school. This may have played a role in his father's decision for him to enter an Army career. It took him 3 attempts to pass the entrance examination to the Royal Military College. But once he got there, he finished 20th in his class of 130. He not only struggled in school, but he had a speech defect, which he never fully lost. He played a role in many wars, including the Boer War, where he was captured and made a daring escape. He was in the World War I, World War II, and the Pacific War. As a prime minister, he rallied the British people during World War II and led his country from the brink of defeat to victory. He served as prime minister at 2 different times, 1940 to 45 and 1951 to 55. He also received the Nobel Prize in Literature for his overall lifetime body of work. Winston Churchill was known as President of the Board of Trade, Home Secretary, Secretary of State for War and Air, Prime Minister. He was also a great writer with books such as The World Crisis, Marlborough, His Life and Times, The River War, and Lord Randolph Churchill. He was also a great speaker and had a way with the words. His quotes inspire people even today. On October 29, 1941, Churchill visited Harrow School, where he went as a child. He addressed the school. Churchill quoted, "Never give in, never give in. Never, never, never. Never in nothing, great or small, large or petty. Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy." Some of his other quotes include, "If you're going through hell, keep going. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something sometime in your life. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." The History Channel states in his biography that his legacy is a complicated one. He is an idealist and a pragmatist, an orator and a soldier, an advocate of progressive social reforms, and an apologetic elitist, a defender of democracy, especially during World War II, as well as Great Britain's fading empire. His entire career was a contradiction, but that is possibly what made him a great leader and a hero. Sir Winston Churchill was an example to people everywhere that no matter your circumstances, no matter your hardships that we may face, if we would just look forward and push on toward our goals, whether great or small, we can accomplish what we set out to do.